Good morning, everybody. Welcome to another freestyle game dev live stream. My name is Kevin. We do this twice a week. It works like office hours, AMA, Q&A. Hop in, ask questions about Unreal Engine, game dev, blueprints, visual scripting. If you're working through our Python scripting crash course for creatives, also hop in here. This is open for questions for with your homework and stuff like that for that as well. We do this twice a week. We do it Sunday nights and Wednesday mornings right now. Sundays at 10:15 p.m. Pacific Standard Time and Wednesday mornings at 8 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Like I said, I think I said, my name's Kevin. I currently work in R&D as a tech artist at Riot Games. I get to do a lot of really cool stuff at work, but there's a lot of really cool stuff I don't get to do. Now, if there are no questions and everybody has Unreal completely figured out, I'm jealous. But also, that's not a problem. I fill the time with just working towards my own working prototype for a game that I'm making. But questions take priority, so please feel free to interrupt at any time. And I went back and I looked through it, didn't see any questions. We're almost done separating out the channels so that this channel will become the freestyle game dev exclusively, and the freestyle life and hydro and everything like that will become their own channels. So hopefully in the next couple of weeks we can do that, finish that off. Other than that, keep an eye on Twitter for any updates on our scheduling or so on. And we did get the Discord server link fixed. It should no longer expire. So with that, I didn't see any questions in any of the chats, so we're just going to be hopping straight back into Unreal. So let's go ahead and do that. Also, good morning. I'm fried, and we have a pretty hard out today at 8 because I have some family stuff to take care of. So let's see how far we get today. Okay, where we left off, we had finally, after a really long time, figured out why our enemies were not respawning. We stumbled around with that for a long time. Interesting. In the meantime, kind of what I've been working on is I was just kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I got distracted. I kind of started having fun with air attacks. Right? And there's a couple different things that I've done that do work. Oh, one shot, one kill on that one. That was awesome. So first off, you no longer go to the moon if you hit the button too many times, which is great. But the one thing that I noticed, and actually I do not have respawn on enemies right now, so I will show you. One thing that I noticed that was interesting is notice the enemy's running towards me, and then the minute I get off the ground, enemy no longer runs. They can't figure out what to do. So it's probably worthwhile to figure out why when I hit the ground. Oh, actually, maybe it's just the first time. Let's see if I need my mouse. Come on. No, it's not just the first time. So like, why is he stuck there? So there is something about our sensing, perhaps. Let's see if we can do this while we're... Okay, the enemy is currently... missed it. You know what? We should switch to super slow-mo when we do that. Okay, so right now, the enemy behavior tree is in fight. The sequence AI state patrol. He's flickering between patrol and something else. And squad leads true. Weapons found. Damage. Has target line of sight is false. So even though I'm still visible, it's like the enemies can't look in the air. So we're, you know, that's something that we can take a look at and figure out why that is. The minute I hit the ground, alright, look around. Well, so it's actually flickering between true and false. Let's see if we can figure out what's going on with that real quick. I have to remember how to do that. Let's take a look at our AI controller. And our AI controller pawn sensing. We have hearing thresholds, sight radiuses. This all seems normal. And our AI perception for sight has a 90-degree half radius. Near clipping, far clipping starts enabled. You know what? We need to remember how to turn some of this stuff on. So let's just go to God mode here real quick. Do this at normal speed. Go. Five is perception. Okay. So that's what I was looking for. So if I run away from this character, we need this too. It seems like she can see me, and she has line of sight, so that's true. But our AI state is flickering between patrol and attack. We just need to figure out why. So let's bring up the enemy behavior tree. As target is the key for whether or not we should attack. So my guess is we're not getting our highest target variable set right. So let's just double check this. Also, why don't we see this behavior tree? Same deal. Let's run away. Oh. Last one left. Yeah, so we're as target is flickering. As target line of sight is flickering between true and false. And we do have a target enemy, that's valid. Target enemy, last seen, spot, weapon, actor, squad leader. Okay, so there's got to be something going on with our target, though. So let's take a look at this. Effectively, no, it definitely has a target because target enemy is set. Target enemy is definitely set. So if that's true, then fight might be failing because it could be somewhere in fight we're failing, and so it's breaking out of here. Interesting. Okay, so we're definitely should be melee. Let's see if we can see what's going on here. Same deal. Let's get God mode. It is going through the behavior tree. Interesting. So when I'm on the ground, it just stays. It's not flickering through. What is happening here? Move to and wait. Target in range. I wonder if it's this. If the target's not in range, what's going to happen is this is going to fail. This sequence is going to fail, which means this sequence is going to fail, which means we're going to come back up to here. Oh, interesting. So what happens is this temporarily fails, and then you can even see it happening now. It flicks over to should flee. But it doesn't actually flee. Because should flee should be false. Let's double check that. Just double check that. Oh wait, let's turn this on. Should flee would be false if it didn't have a friend, or actually hold on, that's true, we don't know what those conditions are. Should flee. So if the character is valid or not, it's going to return. That would be like why it would flee. That's one reason, that's not it. And then we're looking for friends. So if we have friends and our health is low, depending on our strategy, this is interesting. What does this do? If our strategy enum is ally. That's weird. Search and destroy, defend, sentry, dummy, ally. We'll have to look at what that is. So, but let's just say that we should not flee. Okay? I feel like we should not flee. When we should not flee, we would know, actually we would know if we come in here. Let's see if we see any of this light up. That's probably the easiest way. Wait a minute. It looked like she actually came after me. Hold on. It's definitely coming in here. Hold on, I need to be able to see her. Okay, it's definitely going into patrol. Which I don't think it should be doing. The only reason it would go into patrol... Oh, if it's not fleeing. That's why. So we're setting our AIC as patrol. But this is not set. Okay, look, maybe we're finding the issue here. Our blackboard condition, our target enemy is set though. So it never goes in to do any of this stuff. So it comes out of patrol. And then when it comes out of patrol, it comes back up here. It does have a target. Flee is not true. So it comes in a fight. And inside fight, there should fight has target, set focus, attack. Let's see if it's it is looping through here. We know this. But it's not continuing to position itself. Okay. So this may not be a logic error. This may just be... This may just be it's just not moving in the fight tree. So it is absolutely going through the fight tree. But what's happening is it looks like that forced success is not failing. So if I hit the ground, it does continue. Okay, so here's our problem. Target in range. So we're gonna come in here, melee. We're gonna run an EQS query, and then if the target is not in range, we're going to move to our move goal. And then we're going to run our EQS queries again. Something is going on. Something's going on here. It's probably with our queries. I'm wondering if we are updating our move goal. I believe this is the one we're running. Is there a quick way? I'm wondering if there's a quick way I can disable gravity. Let's do this. Let's take a look at shooter. No, let's look at GA jump. 0. And what we're going to do is Not gonna lie, it's not what I was expecting to see. Oh, it's our sword combo that has... That's why. It's our sword combo. Our sword combo has the stuff in it. So let's do this. Launch character. And then let's... gravity. Can we just turn it off? Set. Movement. The movement. Set gravity scale. We'll set the gravity scale to 0. I believe this should make me float. Temporarily. I missed the jump. Okay, so that worked for some reason the second time, but not the first time. Okay. Cool. So this gives me time to troubleshoot. Perfect. All right, now we were looking at our enemy move to goal, target and range, our EQS query. Our enemy is way down here. Oh, undo. I didn't even know you could do that. Okay, so... Oh, I can't turn this on. But look, he's looking up at me. He's looking up at me floating into the sky. Daryl, how are you doing this morning? This is awesome. We are flying. Okay. So let's see here. Did you have any questions today? You got it all figured out. I'm going to space. So he's basically just looking up there. But he doesn't have... I need a way to... Oh, you know what? We can look at his move goal if we're inside of here. I don't see his move goal as a variable right there though. Oh, there it is. Move goal is invalid. That's the problem. Okay, look, we're going to space. The move goal is invalid. Okay, so we found our problem. Let's go back to Earth. That's pretty awesome though. The dude was looking at us up in the sky. Okay, so here's the deal. When we jump, the enemy, when they're fighting, they're running an EQS query, which is find melee attack position. Have I created a menu? I'd love to see that widget. Yeah, we can do that. I'll show you that widget. What kind of menu do you want to see? I've got a couple. So for example, probably the simplest one is my debug menu. If I press P, it pops up this menu. And this lets me do things like print out all the abilities, all the gameplay effects, things like that. Well, interestingly enough, doesn't seem to be working right now. That's kind of wild. E abilities. What? Well, you know what? Let's troubleshoot this because that's super weird. Okay. So let's see here. That should be our debug. You need that in an inventory menu. Okay. So first off, this is just the ability for, it's actually an ability that I grant the characters so they can bring up the debug menu. And then we need this guy, debug options. So debug options is pretty straightforward as far as menus go. It has, I don't know if you're familiar with how UMG works, but it's sort of a lot like HTML editing, where you're kind of making containers and breaking things into pieces, and then based on what you create, you can divide it into two, or they'll stack them vertically or horizontally or whatever. So basically, the simplest one is probably just an overlay, which is just a single container with a border in it, and then you'll notice I have a vertical box. And if I close down all this stuff, basically my vertical box has my header, and then inside my header I have a modal button. This is just my button. Now the trick to this button is over here in the top right. You'll notice that not only is it labeled, but it's also marked as being is a variable, which means that if we click on the graph side of it, this button exists for me to play with as part of all of my options. Now, this menu button, modal, these are horrible names for these buttons. I can't use that for anything. Okay, so let's make some changes. This is going to be a Lyra modal button, abilities. That way we actually know what it is. And this is going to be, oh, this one I labeled. Interesting. This one was labeled. It was just the abilities one that I didn't label, I guess. Oh, no, this one too. This is going to be team info. That way, when I look at it in the graph, I can actually see what I'm working with. And all of my events have updated. So here's our Lyra modal button abilities. What this does is it gets the owning player, gets the ability system, gets all the abilities, and prints. Or equipment. I want to know if it's hitting this though. So let's put a breakpoint right here and let's just go ahead and do that in our game. Okay, so I'm gonna hit P to bring up that thing, and then let's just do abilities. All right, I'm hitting the abilities. Do I have abilities? Yay, yes. I have display names. The weird thing is it didn't actually print anything. Why didn't it print something? Also, our perf force is not connected, so we can't read anything. You created your button states in the AI. Was that a waste of time? Rest hover and select states. Why? I guess why would that be a waste of time? I guess I don't understand. What about doing it in AI would have been a waste of time? I guess if I'm guessing it, what you mean by that if you have a visual target that you want for your buttons, then yeah, you can absolutely create your own button. In fact, I'm just currently using the stand. I'm just using the stand-in stuff right now because, or whatever's available in the Lyra project right now, because it's not that I don't want to waste the time, it's that I have a very specific goal. I have a very specific goal of getting to a playable single level loop, playtest loop, right? Right now, like what we're working towards right now in the absence of questions is I want to get this game in its worst state into you all's hands to play so that we are playtesting it. And in order to do that, I've got to get a few of the basics done, like enemy, stuff like that. I got to get this level working. I've got to get team play done. I have to get a client built, and I've got to get servers online. I'm trying to get to that. So I'm reusing everything I can. Like in the sense that, if Lyra already has a button hover state, I will use that for right now, even though that is not the style of my final game. Because it's super, I know this about myself, it's super easy for me to get lost in the art. And I start making cool stuff, and I need to get this playtestable. So with that in mind, I am absolutely going to be designing hover states and all those kinds of things. So as far as overthinking it, you can absolutely use AI to do that. I think one potential thing that is a challenge is probably not the right word, but the current hot topic right now is the ethics of using AI art. There's a lot of just super heavy and heated debate going on about that right now. So, whether or not you draw it by your hand or you hire somebody, I imagine you're probably going to have some conversations about that going forward. Now, I will tell you personally that I think as of now, without kind of industry consensus and standards and things like that, using AI art for inspiration and stand-in as you get like nailed down style and things like that, I get it. That totally makes sense, especially as a single dev and so on. You meant Illustrator. AI, got it. Adobe Illustrator, got it. Sorry, AI is such, like I said, AI is such a hot topic right now. Everybody is like all fired up about it. So, yeah, of course, Adobe Illustrator. It doesn't really matter. I think actually Adobe Illustrator, if you're familiar with Adobe Illustrator, one of the cool things about it is because it's vector based, you'll be able to change the sizing of anything you need to without losing any kind of resolution. So whatever you're comfortable with is fine. Personally, I use Photoshop more than Adobe Illustrator because I'm way more comfortable in Photoshop than Illustrator, but it also means that I work at a larger resolution than I need to, because if I do need to up-res or anything like that, I can. But yeah, absolutely, you can use AI, Adobe Illustrator to do that. Okay, so if you noticed, it did actually print. I believe it did. Yes, so it's printing it, but interestingly enough, it is not printing it to screen. It is printing it to the message log. So what's happening is print to screen is disabled for some reason. So this is working. Anyways, so bottom line is this menu is working. Now, I don't know if you have specific questions, but I think that there's a lot about menus to potentially dig into. One thing that's worth mentioning, one of my UI friends at work showed me some stuff with this size box, but I do spend a bunch of time getting what I want to show up where I want on screen. And so I'll just block stuff in with different colors first. Like whether this is a button or not doesn't matter if I'm going with the layout. So the same thing, for example, for my inventory. Now, inventory is a little bit wild because like it's so wild that I don't even remember how I set it up. But we can try to look at it here. So actually I should probably just show you what it looks like in game first. So this is your inventory in game, and this is what you have equipped is on the right, and what you have in your inventory is on the left. And there's active, there's items, and equipment. Right now I have no equipment, but if I were to pick up a plasma or a grenade or anything like that, it would show up in our active items, and you can click on them to activate them, like health and things like that, and that fills in. So the way that works is this inventory UI has a 3 different content levels. So this is where we start nesting UI within UI. For example, I don't want to have to make new tiles for every screen. So we have one tile. If we look at our tile widget, so this tile widget, this is where all of the information is, the final draw of the actual piece and its ammo, quantity, etc. But these all get changed out depending on whether or not the piece is an active inventory item or not, whether it is equipped or not. So for example, just simply speaking, when it comes in here, depending on, let's see here, where is it? Oh, if you click on it, if it is a weapon, and if that's false, if it's an active item, then what it does is it goes through and it tries to find the item in your inventory, and then it tries to equip it, right? So the actual tile in the UI handles all this for me. And then what happens is our inventory screen has UI screen content in it, which is nested one more time, which is, it has a uniform grid panel. And in our uniform grid panel, this grid panel is where what happens is when we build it, it basically goes through and it adds the inventory items. To do that, what it does is it gets the inventory, and then depending on whether it's a weapon, active, or static, will change which grid it's putting in it. And it basically goes through, and for every single item, it will basically, well, first we clear the grid. Each time we open it, we clear the grid. Then we get all of the items. And then depending on which tags the item has, we create a widget tile and we add it to the grid. And then we keep on going. And we have counters in here that counts our rows and our tiles in order to put it in the right row in the grid, and so on. So that's how the inventory stuff works. And as an example, if we, what is this test pickup? Oh, this test pickup has nothing. So if we take and we change this to be I need to find where it is. Every time I come back to this stuff, I can't remember what it was. Okay, so we have no item definition here. So if we add, let's add, hey, you can look up, you can pick up, so here's all the things that we can add. Yes. All the tiles. For the inventory, yes. Within that grid, yes, they are. So then, depending, so for example, these are all the item definitions we have. We can pick up Bitcoin and bronze. So we can pick up cannons, pistols, plasma. Let's just do plasma. So if we play now and we run over this in our inventory, you'll notice in our items, we now have plasma. Okay, and it's currently on a cooldown. The interesting thing is our quantity is wrong, but let's just go to God mode so I don't have to run from this dude forever. As soon as this thing, unfortunately I changed the time, the refresh time on that, but let's change our refresh time on this. Where is that? Change this to 2 seconds. Okay, if we come in here, we pick this up. 2 seconds later, there's another one. 2 seconds later, so this is just gonna keep doing that. If we check around our items, interesting. Our items are busted right now, I guess. And what's happening is, oh, I just got killed. Oh, I forgot to switch to God. Oh, we actually got some problems here. Okay, let's do some things. Let's fix some stuff. I didn't know we were going to be fixing this morning, but our inventory UI has some issues. So let's get rid of our enemies real quick. And I'll show you what these issues are. If I walk over this and pick it up, I bring up my inventory. I can't get the inventory UI to disappear, which is weird. So what's happening is we're not toggling the inventory properly. Which is kind of funky. Let's take a look at our inventory. Oh, it's all caps. Wait, is that why? No. Where's our gameplay ability toggle inventory? Oh, why do we have 2? Why do we have 3? So confusing. We have multiple toggle inventories. Okay. I think I know what the problem is. It used to be... No, the rabbit hole's good. So it used to be, okay. It used to be that you could press escape to get out of inventory. But what happened was, when we switched to 5.1, escape became, so it used to be escape was to get out of inventory or bring up the options, and shift escape got you out of the game, quit the game, or quit pie basically. But now escape quits the game if I press escape, and shift escape brings up the menu of options, which is, I don't know why that changed, just by changing the engine version, but it did. And if I press I, that doesn't disappear. If I shift escape out of it, interestingly enough, P does not work either. These used to toggle. I swear, if you pressed I or P, it would toggle these UIs. So something weird is going on with our abilities. So this is activation policy on input trigger, activation group independent. Widget to spawn is the inventory screen. And the inventory screen that's our construct that adds items. I wonder. Okay, hold on. I have a crazy idea. So let's see here. Is visible. If it's visible, I think what we actually want to do is destroy ourselves. Do we have an event for that? Those are button clicks. This is destruct. Let's try destruct. Destruct. Nope. Get a reference to self. Deactivate. Let's try deactivate. So if it's visible, we're going to deactivate it. Otherwise, we're going to activate it. Let's just see if that works. Nope. I don't think that's what we wanted. We're adding inventory items. What happened? One simple question, Daryl. Okay. Okay. Don't panic. It's gonna be fine. Let's see here. Ability tags, ability triggers. Pull down a gameplay. I know this used to work. Input ability toggle debug. You're welcome. Activation policy. Well, this is a little bit of a rabbit hole. I wonder. This is inventory. Let's cancel inventory. Hold up. So if we press play. Oh no, this isn't a problem. No, this isn't a problem. Here's the problem. This is okay. Our input is no longer inputting. I believe that's the problem. That makes more sense. Okay. So here's what happens. When the UI pops up, we're not in a mode that accepts keyboard input anymore. I'm pretty sure. Gameplay ability show widget when pressed. Event activate ability. Hold on, let's put some breakpoints here and let's see. I don't know that we're getting keyboard input once we bring up that UI anymore. Okay, so that's the first activation. Yeah, I'm no longer hitting that. But the escape key works. So put a breakpoint here just in case. Try again. This is our first activation. We get our press. I can't press any more key. I can't press the keys anymore. And you also notice I can't click either. As in, I think there's something about our UI capturing the state, like the keyboard state that it's putting it into. Game menu. When so there's a suspend input until complete. Here it is. Okay. I'm going to uncheck this. I don't think we want to, but I'm going to uncheck it. And the reason I'm going to uncheck it is I just want to test the theory. Okay, so if we bring up this, we run through. The input still seems suspended. Like, I'm not buying that. Push content to layer for player. Game menu. Toggle inventory. Server respects remote ability cancellation. Retrigger. And this is one of these guys. And this is a Lyra gameplay ability. Yeah, but that's not what's... Lyra activatable widget. An activatable widget is supposed to have those options. Where would that be? Hold on. This is input config for a Lyra activatable widget. This is a Lyra activatable widget. Okay. Input config, game and menu. No capture. Here we go. Let's try. Wait, come back. Where'd that go? Where'd it go? Ow. Okay. Consume pointer, display action bar, override accessible defaults. Is modal. Interesting. Auto restore focus. Okay, so there's a bunch of things in here. So back to what I was saying, let's go back, our new place to do our test. Let's just do default. Let's change that to default. Let's go. So in default mode, if I press I, I'm not buying the default's the right one. A menu. Oh, it doesn't like that. That's not it either. We'll go game and menu. Capture permanently. One of these, it's always checkbox on it. See, now I can input. Now I can capture my mouse still. I couldn't do that before. So that's still a thing. But which means I can't, so now I can no longer use mouse to mouse over my widget. So that's why we do that. That's why they did that. No capture. So now if I play, all right, we're getting there. If I bring this up, so now I can actually click on my buttons again, but I cannot click for my character. Okay. So looking at this. Somewhere in here, I believe. Somewhere in here, we are stopping the ability to take keyboard input. And I don't actually know how this works. So I'm gonna have to do some digging. Because it doesn't even look like there's action domains. No capture. Capture permanent, including initial mouse down. Game, let's just try game. Did we try game? I don't know if we did try. So the interesting thing is, I don't know if this is entirely true. So let's go back here. Let me show you what I'm talking about. I may be off on this. We'll go game and menu, which is the default. So if I press inventory, inventory pops up. Now, I'm thinking that the I key is disabled now at this point. But here's the trick. If I press P, I have my debug menu comes up. If I press P again, it doesn't pop back up. But if I press I, it goes back to inventory. So it's actually not that the keyboard is disabled. It's that this isn't actually a toggle. So the UI is working properly. And it was meant to be that you could press escape to get out of it, just like this. So we would have to do some digging to figure out how to make it an actively, like an actual real true toggle. Do we want to do that right now? Yes, flip flop. I was waiting for you to say flip flop. The problem though is this. Oh, I know. I got an idea. Where is it? Actually, let's test this first. Okay, so if I press I, it hits that once. If I press I again, it doesn't hit again. Okay, here's the thing. Let's take a look at the reference viewer on this. And then let's edit this ability set. And then let's edit these add-ons. One of these is toggle inventory. Here's our input action. Let's see if it's consuming the input. It is. Is it that simple? Is it really that simple? No, because I would expect it to try to activate the ability again, it's not. Trigger when pressed. Should this action be able to trigger whilst the game is paused? Oh, trigger when paused. Oh, interesting. Let's try that. There's the first one. But the game's not paused, so that's not what it is. So that's that one. Every time I hit a different key, it's coming back. This has got to be an enhanced input thing. Triggers pressed. There are no modifiers. It's simply a Boolean. Consumes the input. This is an input action. All right, fine. Where does this live? This lives in Engine Plugins Enhanced Input Source. Engine UE5 Plugins Enhanced Input Source. Enhanced Input. Private input action. I want to know if it's hitting this. We're just going to put a breakpoint everywhere. Okay, and then what we'll do, we'll hit this debug, disable all of our debugs. Okay. Then let's go back and enable. It seems to think there's a trigger that's happening here. Okay, we activate the ability. Triggers is empty. Oh, this is one of those ones that's hard to track down. Bummer. I just want to know if the I key is being pressed. Is that too much to ask? It's not too much to ask, is it? Okay. Daryl, what did you do to me? That's a Boolean. Why would I have another idea? Let's do this. Let's just, oh, you know what? We don't have an end ability thing in here. Do we? That's the activate ability. There's the end. Kind of crazy idea. Let's see here. This is class defaults. Instance per actor, server spectrum, re-trigger instance stability. Wait, that did it. Okay. Here we go. That's the problem. Interesting. Dude, this is sticky. This is super sticky. So what's happening is, okay, now we know what's happening. The ability is blocking it. What I mean by that is in the class defaults, it's always a checkbox, man. But we don't know if this is really what we want, so we need to be careful with this. So what's happening is, if we trigger this ability, if the ability system has an option where it may or may not re-trigger itself, and in this particular case it was not. Now the question is, when we push this to the player, so what's happening is there's no way for you to press I again, which is why any other ability, which is why any other interface would do that. This is also why our self-destruction stuff didn't work. So if we don't, let's see here, active, get, so what we want to do is we want to know if this ability, because if we press I and all we do is, in order to make this a toggle, here's the thing. Trying to do this with the gameplay system is fun because the gameplay ability system. So here's what's happening. We press I, it fires off the ability. The ability system knows that it cannot re-trigger the same ability. So you're stuck with the UI up. You cannot get rid of it unless you use the escape all UI key, which is shift escape, or you trigger another UI. If you try to press I again for inventory, I keep saying I because it's my inventory key right now. If you press I again for inventory, oh my goodness, it's already past 9. I'm gonna be late for my event. So let me finish this explanation and we'll do a wrap up because I didn't realize that it was already that late. Okay, so if you press I again to toggle inventory, the gameplay ability system does not allow you to trigger that. All right, so if you check the re-trigger ability, then what happens is the gameplay ability system now is going to re-trigger that ability. But the problem is the interface is already open and that particular ability has no concept of, am I already running? I need to destroy myself, not actually re-trigger. So that's what's happening. That's why this is happening. That also explains why a long time ago I couldn't reuse the I key to get rid of that, which is interesting. So this is a cool thing. This is not the rabbit hole I thought I was going to be going down today, Daryl, but it's cool. So I think probably what I'm going to do between now and the next Q&A is see if I can figure out how to basically re-trigger that and have the ability to just kind of find out best practices for what a gameplay ability should do for canceling itself if it's already active. And because if all we do is cancel itself, then what's going to happen is it's going to display a whole new window again. So with that, I've got to wrap up for today because I got to get going to a family event. So I hope that everybody who is hanging out on Twitch, on the sidelines and everything, I hope you all have a great rest of your week. Daryl, thanks for joining me, popping in and asking questions. Very cool. As always, I learn a ton when I do these things. So we'll be back Sunday night, 10:15, or next week. I'll get the schedule up on YouTube. And like I said, I hope everybody has an amazing weekend. We'll catch you on the next live stream. Take it easy.